Hi everyone, Edward Evans, owner of Geeky Villain. This is the first official video in this series, and this is probably going to be the hardest one I do. This is literally about the 10th time I've started this video because it's extremely hard to go back and revisit your screw-ups. And what we're doing today is talking about why Geeky Villain closed, why I had to close the store. And it basically falls down to, or boils down to, my mishandling of money, specifically the sales tax that we collect for the state of Washington. How it works in the state of Washington is when you're a new business, you collect sales tax. So in the state of Washington, for every $10 that someone spends, you collect $1 of sales tax. So you're collecting $11, 10 of it is yours, $1 goes to the state. Super simple, not complicated. You don't have to be a mathematician to figure that out. In the first, I was going over the numbers. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see these numbers. But in the first 6 months or so, we opened in June. So up until December, we averaged about $6,000 or $7,000 a month, which is absolutely nothing. But it was to be expected. We're a brand new store. Don't expect a lot of customers. Our customer base is still growing. And so the sales tax that we collected wasn't very much, $700 a month or so. So at the end of the quarter, we owe, for $2,100, say on average about $2,100, $2,000 every quarter we owed for the first couple of quarters. Not a big deal. That was not a big deal. We were bringing enough money to pay all the bills. I had a little bit of a nest egg in the bank. We weren't on super growth mode, so it wasn't a problem. What happened was I started getting a little overconfident and I wanted to start growing. We have a lot of really good game stores in the area, a lot of big game stores. And my theory at the time, which now I understand is completely flawed, but my theory at the time was, if we don't grow, we're going to die. Because there was rumor of one of the big game stores moving up here. And if that would have happened, that would have, moving from, opening a branch here in Everett. And if that would have happened, I would have just closed the doors and gone home and cried a little bit. But that actually scared the crap out of me. And I wanted to expand. I wanted to grow as fast as I could. I wanted to be one of the big boys. I have an ego. I want to be the best at what I do. Money doesn't drive me. It's just being the best. Being the best at customer service, being the best at, offering a product at a good deal. Being the best at the ambiance. I wanted to be the best game store in the area. And the opportunity came up to where we could rent space next to us, which was about 3 times bigger, if not bigger, than the existing space that we were in. I talked to the landlord about it. It was March or so of 2018, and we had been flawless with paying, there was no issues. We had been completely flawless paying bills. So he's like, yeah, if you guys want it, here's what I'm offering. He actually knocked $1 per square foot off, but it still, tripled our rent. So I said, yeah, we signed the contract for it. We moved in. It took about 2-3 weeks for us to move in. The actual moving was incredible. I had a bunch of my customers, they volunteered, come and physically move everything that was in my little store into the new store. Granted, it was next door, but still, I will argue to the day that I die that I had the best customers that any store could. They are incredible. And they did it all just for some pizza. But that's besides the point. So we moved into the new location. Overnight, our expenses tripled. I was thinking that, okay, with the bigger space, we'll bring in more people, won't be an issue. And within 2 months, we'll be up to, the per square foot profit that we were in the small store. Our numbers did go up, but not to the extent that I wanted. It wasn't bad. It was what I should have expected, but not what I had thought it would be, in hindsight. So basically, I was collecting all this tax, and I was not thinking in the back of my mind, okay, I was used to paying $2,000 a month in taxes, not $2,000 a month, but $2,000 a quarter in taxes. As our numbers started rising, I was still in expansion mode. Okay, we got to get this. We got to get booths now. We got to expand our shelving. We got so much more square footage. I have to have shelving in the square footage. And I was just in full on expansion mode. After about 2 months of us being in the new space, now we hadn't had to pay taxes yet, but after about 2 months in the new space, the landlord approached us with renting our old space because they were right next to each other. The landlord approached me, hey, do you want to rent your old space? We can knock a big hole in the wall. I'll give you a really good deal on it. It'll only be, X percentage of what you were paying, 75% or whatever of what you were paying. I kind of molded over, and at the time it just seemed like too good of a deal. Okay, we're getting square footage at 75%, 65. I don't remember the exact numbers, but it was a good chunk cheaper than what I was paying for it. And I thought we could use the space. That could be the seating for our TCG events. Pokemon, Final Fantasy. At the time we were starting to do. Pokemon was starting to overtake Final Fantasy as our main game. We were starting to get good numbers, and we were also toying with the idea of getting into Magic. Plus, that would also freed up some space in the big area, so we could set up more miniatures tables, have more retail, and that was my thing. It was more retail, bringing more money. Then taxes came up. I was like, okay, time to do taxes. Started figuring out the numbers, and holy crap, it was about 3 times more than what I had mentally set aside. I'm like, holy crap, I don't have this money to pay the state. I know I screwed up. You don't have to say, oh, you screwed up in the comments. I know I screwed up. Okay, so I paid him what I could. I claim, how it works is you go on their website, you say, okay, I collected this much taxes for you. Okay, you're going to send in the right amount. There's blocks you fill out. No, this is what I'm going to send you. So did that, sent in what I could. Didn't hear anything from them. Then our numbers really started growing, and I did the same damn mistake, like I didn't learn from the first time. 3 months later, our numbers, we went from, I don't know, about 15,000, right? This was a couple months after we moved into the new spot. We went from about 15,000 a month to almost 30,000 within a couple months. And once again, I totally flubbed it. Still thinking expansion. We got to expand. I got to keep my customers happy, or we're going to lose them. I got to keep getting more people in. For every $1 I spend, I'll be getting $3 back. I can pay everything. God damn. Don't do that. set money aside. It was so stupid on my part. I look back and I cringe. It's a literal cringe moment for me. So 3 months go by. I owe more taxes than what I had even ever. It's 10%. Any idiot could figure this out. But I was on growth mode. I was on protecting we started getting into streaming videos, this and that. And I was trying to do everything at once, and it's expensive. And once again, I didn't have the money to pay taxes. So I sent in what I could. And then finally I get a phone call about a month and a half later. Hey, you know what? You owe us $15,000 in taxes. Okay. Well, what do I do? Well, you pay us. I don't have the money. What can you? Okay, fine. What can you do? We'll send you a sheet. And what they do is they emailed me a sheet saying, okay, this is what my profits were. Basically all the numbers. And it's basically asking them if I can make installments. Yeah, sure. I'll do that. So did that, and this is months. Months have gone by. God, this is so embarrassing, and so it's horrible. I was such an idiot. So months go by, and I finally and they finally put me on the, you have to pay your taxes every month because you're making too much money. Okay, thank you. That I can handle. That I can think month to month. You give me 3 months, I'm done. I forget what I ate for breakfast yesterday, let alone something as major as $15,000 in taxes. So when they put us on the month to month, it worked out really well. I was able, get that ball rolling. Wasn't an issue after that, but I still owed this huge amount from 6-7 months worth of taxes that I wasn't able to pay. And the whole time, you're late. For every $1,000 you're late, you owe 15%. So for every 1,000, that's 150 that's thrown on top. Oh, and then there's interest. And by the time it was all said and done, I'm owing like $25,000. I'm like, holy crap. So, so what happened was, behind the scenes, the state took me to court. I probably got the paperwork. I probably okay, and threw it in the pile with the rest of the paperwork. So many mistakes. I fracked up so much. I was so worried about keeping the actual store going that I wasn't paying attention to what was going on behind the scenes. I was trying to do too much, basically. Since then I've hired an accountant. I've learned to just delegate responsibility. But so I thought we were doing good. Our numbers are up. We're doing 30,000 average a month for the last however long. And then I go to, as I said, state of Washington, they put a lien against my store. I knew that. I call them, what does this mean? Well, I called the state. The representative who's handling my case said, well, basically what that means is if you go out of business, we get first dibs on everything. Or if your tax bill gets too great, we'll just come in and take it. I'm like, okay, fair enough. What I didn't know at the same time they were doing this was they were also getting a court order to where they could basically take the taxes out of my checking account without me knowing it. So mid-December 2019 or so, I go, I don't know, I check the account every morning, and just to see if the funds was deposited, and we have like no money in the bank, and we should have $7,000-8,000. I mean, I don't know how much money. We should have money in the bank. We have none, literally zero, and I'm expecting thousands in there, and I freak out. I'm like, what the hell? So you get the dry sweats, and you're like, oh crap, what the hell's going on? Go to the store, start doing some investigating. Holy crap, because I got employees to pay, I got rent to pay. I'm like, holy crap. So luckily I had, the receipts, the money that came in the next couple of days was enough to pay the employees, but I couldn't pay rent. The $7,000. I think, yeah, rent was around $7,000. That fluctuated with utilities and stuff, but our rent was around $7,000 a month, which is a huge amount. I was overpaying in rent, and I didn't have it, so I didn't pay it. And about a week later, of course, landlord, his representative, hey, where's our rent? I don't have it. I'm not sure when I'll have it. I'm trying to collect it. Well, a week after that, I get a notice. It's probably December, so January 1st, I'm not able to pay the rent. About January 7th or so, I get a call from the landlord. Where's our money? I don't have it. I'm trying to get it right now. I got a little bit, but I've got people to pay. I've got, other things also that's as important, to pay. And so all right, well, let's know as soon as you pay it. Well, a week after that, I get a notice on the door saying, you got 3 days to pay us or you got to get out. And I didn't have 3 days, or I didn't have the money to pay them in 3 days. So that's pretty much when I decided to just, basically I had gotten it over my head. I decided that I wasn't going to stress about it anymore. Unfortunately, I decided to close the store and fix what I had screwed up, because there was no way I was going to be able to juggle, trying to pay. And at this time, it was $27,000, $28,000 with fees and interest that I owed the state, on top of trying to scrape together the $7,000 for rent. I was just overwhelmed, and I decided I wasn't gonna try to juggle so many things at once. So I ended up shutting down the store. It was literally the hardest thing I've ever had to do, and not because of me. I'll be fine, but there was kids who played their first Pokemon games in my store. I sponsored a Little League team, and a couple of those kids came in and they played Pokemon, and I had a lot of good memories, and I feel like I let my customer base down, which I did. I was being kind of selfish because I wanted to expand, and I fracked up, and we were doing so well at the end. I mean, if I would have just slowed down, taken care of what needed to be taken care of, we would still be open. I would probably be pulling money out, and it's a dream of a small business owner to finally start making money of their own, to start bringing an income, and we probably would have been to that point. We probably would have been doing pretty well if I wouldn't have screwed up. So that's that. The next videos, if you're still interested in watching this, I mean, it's not great TV, but they'll be lighter. I haven't figured out what the next video is going to be. I'll probably something along the lines of, why did I start a game store? But thank you for watching. And sorry this was such a downer, but thank you, and have a good one. Till next time, bye.